All right, it's time for that end-of-day PulseWave report of yours truly, the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the world famous PulseWave Price Trigger Reports. This is our Take Back Friday edition of the PulseWave report, getting ready for Friday's trading. Let's see where the markets need to be in order to put in a change of direction or a continuation pattern therein. Of course, the PulseWave Price Trigger Reports are available on your dashboard at PulseWaveTrading.com. All right, so the first chart, not in any particular order, is your E-mini S&P 500 futures on the weekly chart. As you can see, we came into this week with the crash alert sell signal, and so far the market's been nothing but downside production from that crash alert sell signal, as you can see right here. So what this means is, all things being equal, depending on what the market does tomorrow, we're looking at more downside to come next week. Now, the weekly chart is still in the green zone, still a bull market. No, nothing really, broken on the chart here. We could start another pullback mode like we did here, but this was very limited. You didn't really get anything going on the downside. So the question is, if we start to do this going into next week, will we get a continuation? Will the market pull back to this 4,200 mark? Or is this just going to be just a traditional pullback setting up for the next leg up? Is the market setting itself up for a Santa Claus rally? That is the question. You say ARDX. All right, let me see. ARDX. Haven't heard of that one. Let's see. Is this ARDX? Is that how you say it? ARDX on the NASDAQ. Let me see here. That's what it looks like. Yep. Okay. Here you go. All right. This is the weekly chart of the ARDX. That's the ticker. It's traded on the NASDAQ. Okay. This one you can see here on the weekly. It's still bound by the week of July 23rd. So the July 23rd bar on the weekly chart is your consolidation zone, and the market is still pretty much staying within that. You haven't really done much. It's a very long one. It goes all the way up to $7.72, and the low is $1.67. You closed around $1.70 today, so you're still in the red zone here on this weekly too. So far though, this market is setting up for a rally alert buy signal going into next week. All things being equal, depending on what it does tomorrow, this is setting itself up for a rally, and it looks like the market's going to try to get back up to between $3.50 to $4. So that's what's happening. You've been here at the low end of the range for a long time. I think the market wants to start testing the middle to higher end of this trading range on that one. All right, taking a look now at gold futures. Here is gold, and as you can see, we had the crash alert sell signal 2 weeks ago, and we just continue to get the downside production here. Depending on where this thing closes, though, tomorrow, we could be setting up for more downside next week, and then I think we probably will build some type of a support. So between tomorrow and at some point next week, the market's going to try to fill support and try to bounce from. But there's only one danger here. And I believe that this bearish pointer back here made the week of October the 13th is going to continue to magnetize price and continue to pull price back down until it tests or take that out. So I think that's the longer term agenda of this particular market right now. All right, taking a look here at the NASDAQ 100 futures, the NQ. You can see here we came into this week with the crash alert sell signal. We got that downside production. So far, this is just a pullback. We got a short-term top in the NASDAQ, and the question will be, where will this market close tomorrow? Depending on what it does so far, we're looking at more downside to come going into next week. But tomorrow's close is going to be very critical for a lot of these markets. Same thing with oil, all right? So oil came into this week, already locked into negative momentum. And so far, depending on what the market does tomorrow, this could be day one, or so say week one of an official corrective phase, meaning that we have gone from an accumulation phase, now we're going into a distribution phase. So this is the official week. This could be the official week of an official correction coming, deeper correction coming in crude oil. And so far, we got a bearish pointer to start it off at, which stopped short right at the top of the Kumo cloud. So you could be seeing at least a minimum of maybe a $10 additional drop in price, $10 to $15 to the downside in crude oil. Ouch. Looking at the Russell, all right, you can see here that the Russell, same thing. We came into this week with that negative momentum. Market's already in a downing slope, downtrend channel, and this could be week one setting up that deeper correction going into next week. Top of the Kumo cloud on this one is at 1900. So yeah, markets are threatening to start going into full-blown correction mode based on how the market closes tomorrow. Tomorrow could change all of that depending on what the markets do, but in order to stop going into that corrective phase, I think right now the markets are setting up, you guys, for short-term tops and deep corrections. Looking at silver, silver came into the week too. We had that crash alert sell signal 2 weeks ago. We got that continued downside production. Will the market try to build a place to support here, or do we have deeper correction? Based on what I'm looking at so far, the market's setting itself up to fall outside of this Kumo cloud and head south of 20 bucks. The only thing that may keep the market from doing that, you have to go way back into your files and see here that the week of February the 5th of this year, we made a massive bullish pointer that has not been tested or taken out. So that could limit any downside that we might see in silver. Could just be a washout, washing out, the week longs. We'll see. Next one is your soybean futures. So soybean futures so far, you can see we had this long lasting correction. Market tried to get a little dead cat bounce going up here. You had the rally alert buy signal. You got a little bit of upside production. Now, so far, the market's setting itself up for a crash alert sell signal going into next week, where beans could possibly drop outside the cloud and drop below that $11 mark. That is where we're looking. As far as the Dow has been quite volatile, but overall, still down. Looking like we're setting ourselves up for a correction. So that means the stock indexes are going from a pullback mode to a full-blown correction mode, because you got your trend line support at 33,500. Maybe the market kind of bounce from there like it did before when you came down here and tested the trend line. Market rallied from that point. So this could be a short-lived thing, but you got to take what you see. And right now, it's looking like the markets are building themselves up for a straight-up correction going into next week. Australian dollar, more downside production as well. Well-established downtrend channel. You are in a straight-up correction in the Australian dollar. Don't see anything changing that. Canadian dollar, crude oil's been pulling back, but the Canadian dollar's been bucking it, and it's trying to extend and start a rally going into next week on the Canadian. Gold is not helping the Australian dollar. You can see that there. Looking at the CAD yen, you can see here, same thing, beginning stages of a correction, threatening to drop below the 87 handle, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready. Euro dollar, pretty much the same thing, except for it's saying, nope, we want to halt here. So far, the euro dollar is setting itself up for a rally alert going into next week. We'll see how this market closes, but so far, It's looking like it wants to put in a short-term bottom and get back up here toward maybe the 115, even the 116 handle. We'll see. Like I say, tomorrow's close is going to be something else. Euro yen. All right. As you can see here, downtrend channel still in effect. Correction mode still established. This one's setting itself up to really start to head down, and it can drop outside this thing quick and get below 124. I think the euro yen is finally starting to capture the U.S. stock indexes. So we will see. We will see. All right. Let's see the next one here. Okay, said BTU Peabody Energy. All right. Here's Peabody Energy. All right, so on this one so far, this market had a flip-flop. You had the crash alert sell signal a few weeks back. You've been getting that downside production. The bulls tried to defend here and just lost all hope. Then coming into this week, we had a rally alert buy signal, but we got no production. And it did it on a bullish pointer on the weekly chart here. Instead, the market has flip-flopped, and now so far, based on what we did today, unless something drastically happens tomorrow, this one has decided to set itself up for a crash alert sell signal going into next week, looking to drop back down probably below 7, maybe even get down to the $5 range. So yeah, that's what's kind of shaping up right now. Let's see here. Next we got here's the British pound. Brexit does not seem to be helping this market. Straight down you go. All right, this thing is, the bears have been keeping control on this. Depending on how it goes going into, to next week, tomorrow's close will be very important. But it's looking like it wants to continue to go and drop outside of this Kumo cloud and possibly get down to maybe probably 129.5, somewhere around there. Yes, I know it's getting a little spooky. Flipping over to the ADA Cardano, looking at the cryptos now. This one so far is also, the bears still got the market locked in. They tried to phase, they posted a little rally today, trying to defend around the trend line support. It's a possibility. This one could try to get up. This bearish pointer has been just attracting and pulling the price down to it. Still a very high probability that the market's going to really try to test and take this out. You really haven't really tested it. You've pulled back, but you really haven't tested it yet. And this week is not over with. So going into next week, I think more downside's coming. You're still in a well-defined corrective mode in ADA Cardano. Looking at DOT. So far, DOT is setting itself up for a crash alert sell signal going into next week. And this will be the beginning of a correction. So you're going to go from pullback status to full-blown correction mode. And this one could easily drop back down below 20. So this is what it is. All right, next up is Ethereum. Here's Ethereum, flip-flopped. Coming into this week, we had some flip-floppage. We had the downside alert. We had the crash alert sell signal. Following week, we didn't get any downside production at all. Market gave a rally alert buy signal coming to this week. You did get some initial rally here, and now the market's kind of just like hanging out. So right now, the bulls are holding firm in your Ethereum right now. The bulls are holding firm. The market ignored the crash alert sell signal, all right, and instead reversed, flip-flopped. Very interesting times. So I think Ethereum wants to keep going. The bulls came in and defended this pullback, this support zone. So far, we'll see what happens. Tomorrow's a big day, like I said, a big day. All right, looking at Litecoin. Litecoin flip-flop too. Still trading in the consolidation zone from May 21st. All right, and nothing has broken out of it. It's just there. It's just still captivated. Looking at THETA. Theta, same thing. You're just kind of flatline, but you know, with a bearish um, bent, bearish bias in the market. And so far, this one's setting up for a crash alert going into next week. Looking at XRP Ripple, crash alert sell signal, and you got the continued downside production. I think this one wants to break below the trend line support going into next week. Here is, last but not least, here is the mighty Bitcoin. Looking at the futures, you see you had a crash alert sell signal. You got the initial downside production coming into this week. We did continue this low, all right, this low point. Now the market's kind of stalled in the middle, but you are still in an official correction zone. All right, you went from a pullback status right here, these two bars, but now you're officially locked into a corrective state. I think the market is threatening to pull back down here around the 45,000 level. So this is what it is, man. I know. Don't like to be the bearer of bad news, but it is what it is. Trade what you see, not what you think. All right. And don't forget to smash that like button, everybody in the live chat. And what's up to all my Aussies? I hope everyone has a great weekend. Take time off to decompress. I know the news cycle has been very depressing and crazy as of late, but you need to take time out to relax, spend time with friends and family, spouse and children, play some video games, watch some good movies, Netflix and chill, whatever. Float your boat, whatever hobbies you got. That's what the weekend is for. And with that being said, remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I am out. Peace.